Picture this. You're up before dawn, coffee in hand, grinding through another 12-hour shift. Your hands are calloused, your back aches, and your inbox is a battlefield of unanswered emails. You're the one who shows up first, leaves last, and says yes when everyone else says no. You're the dependable one, the one who keeps the wheels turning, the one who makes things happen. You've been told your whole life that this is the path to success. Work hard, stay humble, and the world will reward you. But then you look around, and something doesn't add up. Across town, someone's sipping a latte in a penthouse office, making more in an hour than you do in a week. They don't work harder than you. They don't know more than you. They're not smarter, stronger, or even more skilled. But they've got the corner office, the flashy car, the life you thought you were working toward. And you're left standing there, exhausted, asking yourself, what the hell am I doing wrong? You're not alone in this. That knot in your stomach, that quiet rage when you see someone glide past you with half the effort, that's not just frustration. It's a signal, a wake-up call. Because the truth is, you haven't done anything wrong. You've just been fed a lie. A lie so old, so deeply woven into the fabric of society that it feels like truth. It's the lie that hard work is enough. That effort equals reward. That if you just keep your head down, stay loyal, and do the right thing, the system will eventually notice you, pat you on the back, and hand you the keys to the good life. But what if that promise was never meant to be kept? What if the system isn't broken? What if it's designed to keep you exactly where you are? And what if the people who rise to the top aren't the ones who work the hardest, but the ones who understand the rules of a different game? A game you were never taught to play. This isn't just about money, it's about power, perception, and the stories we've been told since we were kids. It's about why the nurse who saves lives can barely pay rent, while the influencer selling motivational quotes on Instagram buys a second vacation home. It's about why the factory worker who keeps the world running retires with nothing, while the hedge fund bro who moves numbers on a screen retires with millions. And it's about why you, despite doing everything right, feel like you're running on a hamster wheel that's going nowhere. To unravel this, we're going to dive deep into the minds of two philosophical giants, Plato and Friedrich Nietzsche. These thinkers didn't just analyze the world, they dissected the hidden rules that govern it. Plato, the ancient Greek who questioned the nature of justice, and Nietzsche, the 19th century rebel who exposed the lies behind our moral beliefs, both saw something most people miss. The world doesn't reward virtue, it rewards power. And the sooner you understand that, the sooner you can stop being a pawn in someone else's game and start writing your own rules. So grab a seat, maybe a strong drink, and let's peel back the curtain on why the hardest workers often stay poor, and what you can do to break free without losing your soul. Because this isn't just a story about unfairness, it's a story about awakening. And by the end of this, you'll see the world a little differently, and maybe, just maybe, you'll start playing the game on your own terms. Let's start with a story. Imagine a kid named Sam. Sam grows up in a small town, raised by parents who work their fingers to the bone. His dad's a mechanic. His mum's a school teacher. They're the kind of people who never call in sick, who take pride in their work, who believe that if you do right by others, life will do right by you. Sam's parents drill this into him. Work hard, be honest, and you'll make it. So Sam does. He studies hard, gets good grades, lands a solid job as an engineer. He's the guy who stays late to fix a bug, who takes on the projects nobody else wants, who believes that his effort will eventually pay off. Fast forward 10 years. Sam's still grinding. He's good at his job, damn good. His co-workers lean on him, his boss praises him, but his paycheck, it's barely keeping up with inflation. His rent's gone up, his student loans are a noose around his neck, and he's still driving the same beat-up car he had in college. Meanwhile, he watches a guy named Chad Chad, who started at the same company around the same time. Chad's not smarter than Sam. He's not more skilled. He's not even that good at his job. But Chad's got a knack for something else. People. He knows how to charm the boss, how to take credit for other people's work, how to network at the right happy hours. And now, Chad's got a corner office, a fancy title, and a salary that makes Sam's look like pocket change. Sam's not stupid. He sees it, he feels it. And every night when he drags himself home, bone-tired, he wonders, why am I still here? Why does this feel so unfair? But here's the kicker. Sam's not asking the right question. The real question isn't, why is this unfair? It's, why did I ever believe it would be fair in the first place? This is where Plato steps in. In his dialogue, The Republic, Plato wrestles with a question that's as old as time. What is justice? He tells a story through a character named Glaucon, who challenges the idea that being good is inherently rewarding. Glaucon asks, what if the just man, the guy who does everything right, who works hard, who follows the rules, ends up suffering? And what if the unjust man, the guy who lies, cheats, and manipulates, ends up rich, powerful, and happy? Why would anyone choose to be just if injustice pays better? Plato's answer is complex, but at its core, he suggests that justice isn't about external rewards like money or status. It's about the health of your soul, about living in harmony with truth. But let's be real, that's a tough pill to swallow when your bank account's empty and your boss just gave Chad a bonus for a project you carried. Plato's idealism is beautiful, but it doesn't pay the bills. And that's where the tension lies. You were raised to believe in Plato's world, a world where goodness leads to reward. But you're living in a world where goodness often leads to exhaustion, while cunning leads to the corner office. Now, let's bring in Nietzsche, because he takes this a step further, and he's not here to comfort you. Nietzsche would look at Sam's story and say, you've been duped. In his book, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Nietzsche introduces a concept that cuts like a knife. Slave morality versus master morality. Slave morality, he argues, is the belief system of the weak. It's the idea that humility, obedience, and self-sacrifice are virtues, that suffering is noble, that being good means putting others before yourself. Sound familiar? It's the story Sam was raised on. It's the story you were raised on. It's the story that keeps millions of people grinding away, hoping for a reward that never comes. Master morality, on the other hand, is the mindset of the strong. It celebrates ambition, creativity, and the will to power. It doesn't wait for permission or approval. It doesn't beg for a seat at the table. It builds its own. Nietzsche isn't saying you should be a jerk or step on others to get ahead. He's saying that the system you're serving, the one that praises your hard work while rewarding someone else's cunning, was designed to keep you in place. Slave morality isn't about lifting you up. It's about keeping you obedient. It's about convincing you that your suffering is sacred, that your loyalty is enough, that your sacrifice will someday be rewarded. But here's the brutal truth. The system doesn't care about your sacrifice. It cares about value, not the value you create, but the value you control. That's why the nurse who saves lives earns less than the influencer who sells a life-changing online course. That's why the teacher who shapes minds can't afford a house, while the hedge fund guy who bets against the market buys his third yacht. It's not because they're better than you. It's because they've learned the rules of the game, a game you were never taught to play. Let's zoom out for a second. Think about the people who keep society running. The farmers who grow your food, the truckers who deliver it, the teachers who educate your kids, the nurses who keep you alive. These are the people who do the real work, the kind of work that makes the world function. And yet these are the same people who are often one paycheck away from disaster. They're the ones who can't afford to take a sick day,
who worry about rent, who retire with nothing but a thank you and a cheap plaque.
Now look at the people at the top, the CEOs, the influencers, the politicians, the thought leaders. They're not breaking their backs in the heat. They're not staying up all night saving lives. They're not even producing anything tangible half the time. What they're doing is leveraging. They're leveraging networks, capital, perception. They're not working harder, they're working smarter. And the system, it's built to reward that. This isn't a conspiracy theory, it's just how power works. The world doesn't run on effort, it runs on control. Control over resources, over narratives, over people. The construction worker who builds the skyscraper gets a paycheck. The developer who owns the land gets a fortune. The teacher who educates the next generation gets a pension that barely covers groceries. The politician who cuts their funding gets a private jet. This isn't a glitch in the system, it's the system working exactly as intended. And here's where it gets really wild. The lie of hard work isn't just about keeping you working, it's about keeping you believing. Believing that if you just keep going, keep sacrificing, keep being good, you'll get your reward. It's a psychological trick, and it's been around forever. Nietzsche called it slave morality, but you can see it everywhere. In the stories we tell kids about working hard and making it, in the motivational posters that say, hustle ill success, in the way we glorify the selfless worker who never complains, never demands more, never questions the rules. But those rules, they were written by the people who benefit from your silence, the people who profit from your labor, the people who need you to keep showing up, keep saying yes, keep believing that someday, somehow, the system will notice you. Spoiler alert, it won't. Because the system wasn't built to reward effort, it was built to reward power. Let's go back to Plato for a moment because his philosophy gives us a way to visualize this. In the Republic, Plato tells the story of the Allegory of the cave. Imagine a group of prisoners chained inside a dark cave facing a blank wall. All they can see are shadows projected on the wall by objects passing in front of a fire behind them. These shadows are the only reality the prisoners know. They think the shadows are the world. But one day, a prisoner breaks free. He discovers the outside world, the sun, the trees, the real objects casting those shadows. He realizes that everything he thought was real was just a distortion, a trick of the light. Now, imagine you're one of those prisoners. The shadows on the wall are the stories you've been told. Work hard and you'll succeed. Be good and you'll be rewarded. Sacrifice now and you'll win later. But what if those stories are just shadows? What if the real world, the world of power, leverage and strategy, is outside the cave and you've been staring at illusions your whole life? Plato's point is that breaking free from the cave is hard. It's painful. The light of truth hurts your eyes. It's easier to stay in the cave, to keep believing the shadows, to keep trusting that the system will take care of you. But once you see the truth, once you realize that the game is rigged, you can't unsee it. And that's where Nietzsche picks up the torch. He doesn't just want you to see the truth, he wants you to act on it, to stop worshipping the shadows and start building your own reality. So why do we keep believing the lie? Why do millions of people, good, hard-working people, keep chasing a promise that rarely delivers? It's not just because we're naive, it's because the lie is comforting. Psychologists call it the just world fallacy, the belief that the world is fair, that good things happen to good people, that effort always equals reward. It's a story we're told from childhood, in fairy tales, in classrooms, in churches. It's the story that keeps us going when life feels unfair, because it promises that if we just keep trying, justice will prevail. But the just world fallacy isn't just a belief, it's a trap. Because when you believe the world is fair, you don't question the system. You don't demand more. You don't walk away from a job that exploits you or a boss who undervalues you. You keep waiting for the reward that's always just out of reach. And while you're waiting, someone else is learning how to play the game. They're learning how to network, how to negotiate, how to build leverage. They're not working harder, they're working strategically. And in a world built on power, strategy always beats sweat. Let's talk about the Chads of the world for a minute. You know the type, the guy who always seems to land on his feet, no matter how little he does. The one who gets the promotion because he knows people, not because he's better at the job. The one who's always at the right meeting, saying the right thing, shaking the right hand. Chad's not a genius. He's not even that talented, but he's mastered something you weren't taught: perception. In today's world, perception is currency. It's why the influencer with 1 million followers can charge thousands for a single post, while the teacher with a master's degree struggles to buy groceries. It's why the startup founder who's never built anything can raise millions, while the engineer who keeps the servers running gets a 2% raise. The system doesn't reward the work, it rewards the story. And Chad? He's a master storyteller. Nietzsche would call Chad a practitioner of master morality. Not because he's inherently better, but because he's learned to prioritize his own power. He doesn't wait for permission. He doesn't beg for recognition. He creates his own value, his own narrative, and the world bends to it. Meanwhile, the Sams of the world, the ones raised on slave morality, are still waiting for someone to notice their hard work. And the system? It's happy to let them wait. So what do? If the system is rigged, if hard work isn't enough, if the Chads of the world keep winning, how do you survive without becoming one of them? How do you escape the cave without turning into the kind of person you despise? This is where Nietzsche's concept of the Ubermensch comes in. The Ubermensch, often translated as the Overman or Superman, isn't a tyrant or a villain. It's not about crushing others to get ahead. It's about becoming the author of your own life. It's about refusing to let the system define your worth. It's about creating your own values, your own path, your own power. The Ubermensch doesn't abandon morality. He redefines it. He doesn't sacrifice his principles, but he stops treating sacrifice as a strategy. He learns the rules of the game, not to manipulate others, but to protect his own vision. He doesn't wait for the world to reward him. He builds a world where his work matters. Let's bring this back to Sam. What if Sam stopped waiting for his boss to notice him? What if he started saying no to the extra shifts that don't pay? What if he took the skills he's honed over a decade and started his own company? What if he stopped asking for a seat at the table and built his own damn table? That's what the Ubermensch does. Not because he's ruthless, but because he's awake. He sees the system for what it is, and he refuses to let it define him. So how do you start? How do you break free from the lie of moral labor without losing your integrity? Here are some practical steps, grounded in the wisdom of Plato and Nietzsche, but tailored for the real world. 1. Stop worshipping sacrifice. Sacrifice isn't a strategy, it's a trap. Stop saying yes to everything just to be good. Learn to say no when it doesn't serve you. Protect your time, your energy, your vision. Kindness is a strength, but strategic kindness is power. Help others when it aligns with your goals, but don't let your goodwill be exploited. 2. Learn the game of leverage. The system rewards control, not effort. Start studying how power works. Learn to negotiate. Build a network, not to manipulate, but to create opportunities. Invest in skills that give you leverage: coding, writing, public speaking, financial literacy. The goal isn't to game the system, it's to make the system work for you. 3. Create your own value. Stop waiting for someone to validate your worth. Start creating something that reflects your vision. It could be a side hustle, a passion project, a new skill. The nurse who starts a health blog, the teacher who writes a book, the engineer who builds an app. These are people who stop waiting for permission and start building their own path. 4. Embrace strategic discomfort. Breaking free from the cave isn't easy. It means letting go of the comfort of being good. It means being willing to disappoint people who benefit from your silence. It means taking risks, saying no, walking away from situations that no longer serve you. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to act despite it. 5. Redefine success. Nietzsche's Ubermensch doesn't chase status for status's sake. He chases meaning. Ask yourself, what do I want my life to stand for? Not what society tells you to want, not what your parents or your boss or Instagram says you should want, what you want. Then build a life that aligns with that vision. Let's go back to Sam one last time. After years of grinding, Sam has an epiphany. He's tired of waiting for the system to reward him. He's tired of watching Chad win while he stays stuck. So he starts small. He takes a course on entrepreneurship. He starts a side hustle, using his engineering skills to build apps for small businesses. He learns to negotiate, to say no, to value his own time. It's scary, it's messy. There are nights when he doubts himself, when the old story of just work hard creeps back in. But Sam keeps going. A year later, his side hustle is earning more than his day job. 2 years later, he quits that job to go all in on his own company. 5 years later, he's not just surviving, he's thriving. He's not a millionaire, but he's free. Free to work on his terms. Free to build something that matters to him. Free to live a life that aligns with his values, not someone else's. Sam didn't become Chad. He didn't abandon his integrity or step on others to get ahead, but he did stop playing by rules that were designed to keep him small. He stopped waiting for the world to be fair and started creating his own fairness. He became, in Nietzsche's words, an Ubermensch, not because he conquered others, but because he conquered himself. So here's the question. What's your cave? What's the shadow you've been staring at, believing it's the truth? Maybe it's the job you hate but can't leave. Maybe it's the belief that if you just work harder, you'll finally make it. Maybe it's the fear of standing out, of taking a risk, of being seen as selfish for wanting more. Whatever it is, it's time to break free. Not by becoming someone you're not, but by becoming who you were always meant to be. The world doesn't reward hard work. It rewards power. Not power over others, but power over your own life. The power to say no. The power to create. The power to stop waiting for permission and start building your own path. Plato showed us the shadows. Nietzsche showed us the way out. Now it's up to you to take the first step. Stop waiting for the system to save you. Stop hoping for fairness. Start learning the rules. Start claiming your power. Start writing a story that's yours and yours alone. Because the future doesn't belong to the obedient. It belongs to the awake. The ones who see the lie for what it is and choose to build something better. So what are you waiting for? The cave is comfortable, but the world outside is waiting. Subscribe to discover the ideas, strategies, and mindsets that don't just explain the world, they give you the tools to reshape it. One choice at a time, one step at a time, one life at a time.